All right, welcome back, everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. 2,000%, 7,000%, 370,000 plus percent gains potentially for XRP. Some people will say, oh, that's hype. Some people say that's clickbait. Well, I tell you what, just you click on and keep watching on this video, because I'm going to tell you right now, I believe everything that I'm talking about, and I'm going to show you the evidence here that supports everything that I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow me on Twitter at @BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. And there is a lot to unpack. Let's go ahead and get started. Soft news this morning is this. Digital Chamber of Commerce, Perry Ann Boring, Daniel Gorfine, Zoe Cruz, Sarah Olson, this Thursday, November 19th at 1:10 p.m. Eastern Time, the future of digital assets. Right while we're making announcements, and I'm sure that that's going to be a fantastic conversation. I'm going to try to check that out. I want to let you know that Mickey B. Fresh and myself are going to be interviewing Hugo from Flare. And we're going to talk about Spark tokens and claiming them. What does it mean? What's the advantage of an XRP holder claiming Spark tokens? What's the disadvantage if you don't? Right? And many, many more questions to try to straighten this out so we can get a real clarity amongst the entire XRP community and space here. So let's keep this thing going because it just keeps getting bigger for the conversation. Let's roll through this. So XRP wallets are getting bigger. The number of whales continues to grow. XRP dominates discussions on crypto platforms, and the XRP holders that have anywhere between 100,000 and 1 million XRP in their wallets has reached a new all-time high of 17,625. That is nothing but upside when I think of those numbers and the fact that people continue to build out their holdings. That's pretty incredible. Not financial advice, by the way. Citibank forecasts Bitcoin price at $120,000 by 2021. Well, let's take a look at this because, first of all, this was done and predicted and forecast, I should say, back in July of this past summer. Right? Altana Digital Currency Chief Investment Officer shared a chart associated with Citibank that predicts Bitcoin price at $120,000 by 2021. Analysis firm Crypto Quant indicates that Bitcoin whale will see Bitcoin when the rally continues too fast, like at the moment. So I'm not going to read the whole thing to you other than to simply show you that this is what was said. The chart shows a prediction that Bitcoin can reach a price of $120,000 in the next couple of years. The referred to the chart highlights the moments when Bitcoin had a breakout between 2011 and 2016. And it says here to propose the mentioned price that will far exceed Bitcoin's all-time high of $20,000, according to Milne's publication. So listen. Here's the deal. I want to look at some information outside of that because, for one, you remember when Venezuela's fiat currency just absolutely collapsed. And here is a video showing you that it's in a dumpster. Just tons and tons of money just being thrown away because it's become worthless and it's collapsed. Now, this is an extreme scenario where the monetary system in that country has just absolutely collapsed and fell apart, right? But here's what I want to show you, because maybe the Citibank guy was off by a little. It might not be by 2021, because that's just, we're talking a couple months or a month and a half away here. So, but you know what? Think of this for a moment. This is from Bond Crypt, and shout out to Bond Crypt, Guns and XRP, DJ Peter Vass, XRP Crypto Wolf, and Michael Val 5 Links, and everyone else who sends information. 300 banks in Germany charge negative interest rates, including Deutsche Bank, Commerzbank, Ing. A custody fee of 0.5% will be charged starting on the February 1st, 2021 for current accounts opened after November 4th if they have balances of over 100,000 euros. Oh, Now, I want to be clear. Now, that is not a collapse in the currency. However, it is a slippery slope to start down that negative interest rate path. And this is exactly what 300 banks in Germany are beginning to do. And I'll tell you, when you see this is, to me, is a shockwave that's going to continue across Europe. And I do not believe that this will be an isolated event to just Germany. That becomes, in my mind, a huge, cannot be overstated catalyst for the entire crypto space as well as metals market. Not financial advice again, but this is what I see. You see this trend continue to happen, and I believe you will see this shockwave start to spread across Europe and not just Germany's borders. You're going to see a huge run to high ground, and those high ground places are going to be metals, crypto, and private equity, blockchain, fintech companies. I can tell you that right now. That's what I'm seeing. And let's keep it going, because did you know that if you Google World Banks and XRP, shout out to DJ Peter Vest, this is exactly what comes up. First thing at the top. 38 of the largest banks worldwide use Ripple. That's nice. Ripple's cross-border payment technology has been adopted by more than 250 banks in over 50 countries, including the international payment giant MoneyGram. However, many banks and partners have announced long-term plans to switch to the new technology. We like Google today. And listen, all of this is fun and all of this is interesting when we look at these things. And we're about to look at some technical analysis that are being made by some of the TA people out here in the space. And we just saw a forecast prediction for Bitcoin. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says XRP could be key crypto asset in digital dollar revolution. Brad Garlinghouse said Ripple is pushing XRP as a bridge asset to power cross-border transactions and exchange one currency for another, like the AUD and the USD. Absolutely right. And oddly enough, it could all look really like, let me see if I have the diagram here. It can all look very much like some of the beautiful things we've seen here on the channel, which is all the money. That's what we're talking about here. This is exactly what Brad Garlinghouse is talking about. It could be the key crypto asset in the digital dollar revolution. Well, this is what he's talking about right here. All the money, and how XRP would sit as a bridge currency between all the money or all the assets that have been tokenized that have value and placed on the ledger. That's what we're talking about here. And he's not done talking about it. We're going to hear that in a second. Taking a closer look, Crypto Bull gives us a chart here that clearly lays out for us. We could see $5 by 2021, and going into 2022, and after the summer there, it looks like a $40 forecast as well. This is just basically taking a simple overlay of what happened in 2017, 2018, and then running it on top of where we currently are. Pretty interesting. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it does usually rhyme. Then we look at another chart here, and this chart happens to be from, let's see, I cannot remember who it was from, but let me see if I can find it really quickly, because I just clicked off of it and I thought I had them open underneath of it. At any rate, they're calling for 2,000, 3,000% gains, which is pretty remarkable to me. And if you think about that, 2,000, 7,000% gains, you would be looking at $5.40 if you looked at 2,000% gains, which we had in 2014 and 2018. And then the 7,000% gains that we had in 2017, these are real numbers that we had in history in the years past. So if we had a 7,000% gains right now at the current price of 27 cents, we'd be at $18.90, just like a repeat in 2017. Again, if we had the 2,000% gains felt in 2014 and 2018, we would be sitting currently right now at $5.40. But there's one more thing I threw out there, and that was 370,000 plus % gains potentially. Yeah. Well, we're talking about 370,000 plus percent gains would put us at $1,000. $1,000 XRP. We talk about $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 XRP like it's nothing these days, right? We really do. My question is that if we're going to talk about that, let's make sure it's a serious conversation. What can we base it on other than we just think so? Well, I'll tell you what we base it on. We base it on Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, who proposed in G30, and he literally proposed this, that right here, and I'll zoom it in, we've covered it plenty of times, but it's to show you and make a point here, that you could use Ripple or XRP to leapfrog slow and expensive correspondent banking here, because it says right here it's already offered a function similar that is offered in the private sector by Ripple, real-time gross settlement currency exchange, and remittance network whose digital currency XRP leapfrog slow and expensive correspondent banking. And he talks about using a systemic hegemonic currency that could dampen the spillover shocks associated with the dominance of the US dollar as a reserve currency. And I believe they're talking about obviously the dominance of the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. But the reality here is it's being felt like in Germany right now. Not only is it the in-border issues they have within their own country, there is a dollar dominance issue in the world. We've seen it discussed ad nauseum by the IMF, right? We even heard Barry Eichengreen talk about the fact that there is a 21st Triffin dilemma problem with the U.S. dollar as a global reserve currency. And he personally feels something has to be addressed about that situation, which potentially means a debasement of the currency and potentially losing its global reserve status. Now, okay, with that being said, let's go back to Brad Garlinghouse's 29-second, very important statement here. Thanks to Mickey B for sharing this and Frank Chaparro for the interview itself. Listen to this comment.
I mean, certainly we do know of central banks looking at the XRP ledger as open source technology to issue stablecoins using the XRP ledger. And that may happen. And frankly, it's open source technology. You know, we don't even necessarily have to be involved with that. Now, as experts in using the XRP ledger, you know, some of them talk to us and we try to be helpful, and we think that can be good for the overall dynamics in the XRP community. Now,
okay, so we do know of central banks looking at the XRP ledger open source technology. We do know that Mark Carney has proposed something very similar using Ripple and XRP by being able to have a systemic hegemonic currency could, for example, be a stable coin backed by a basket of deposits at different central banks. It is possible that such a stable coin could be valuable for cross-border payments, serving a function similar to that offered by the private sector of Ripple and XRP, right? This is Mark Carney now. And now we have the acknowledgement that Brad Garlinghouse is saying we do know that central banks are looking at the XRP ledger open source technology to issue stablecoins on ledger. He goes on to say that it's open source technology so they could be doing these things and we don't have to get an email about it. We find out just like everybody else does because it's open source technology. He did admit that some banks do contact them about the issue and they try to help where they can, but you know, they don't have to be notified about it. This is, to me, is very interesting because it's very telling. Because if you think about the idea, what they're talking about is the idea of central banks creating baskets of deposits held around at central banks around the world, which could be a percentage of the Nostro Vostro accounts to provide a floor value or a price set to the asset while remaining a decentralized open free market asset, but providing a price floor to the asset that would give it a reliable price. In fact, it would give it a base price that is so reliable it would never drop below it because it's collateralized at that level to give it that price, guaranteeing everyone who uses it in the world it'll never be worth less than this. If it was $1,000, that would put us at 370,000 plus, about 371,000% plus gains. The reason I point this out isn't to be hypey. The reason I point this out is because Brad Garlinghouse said that banks are looking at creating and issuing stablecoins off of the XRP ledger. Those aren't my words, they're his. And we already know that if they did it, this is the way they would do it, because Mark Carney's giving you the path to get it done. This is the former governor of the Bank of England. He's not a YouTuber, not a podcaster, not somebody with a decent Twitter following, right? The former Bank of England has said this many times, and this is from the G30. So when we talk about the idea and notion here, we have to remember, yes, we could see the normal paced gains, right? We could see those like we looked at here, like the $5, $40 mark. But we can't, and I think this is one of the most amazing things about this investment, is we can't take the idea of a 370,000 plus gains off the table, because the reality is, if they decide to use this ledger to issue stablecoins for their digital dollar and things off of the network, the XRP ledger, this is a situation where the charts can't predict or tell you that that moment's coming. But when it comes, it will come so fast and so quick that your head will spin, because they don't need anybody's permission, not even Brad Garlinghouse. All right, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I want to see what you say and have to say about this idea and notion. Remember, we're talking about new money. And if they collateralize it and back it to get it off of the ground, it could give it the value it needs. And that is by providing those accounts to back that ledger and collateralize the value of that asset until you get enough utility flowing across that network and deep liquidity pools connected to that utility to be able to sustain itself. And then eventually you'll be able to remove that backing of that collateral behind it, and it will just be money, just as fiat is in the world today. That, I believe, is the plan. That's the goal, to have the liquidity of a G10 currency, right? That's what they say, and it's always about all the money. All right, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, share with somebody you know, leave a comment below, and check out the descriptions or the links in the description box and the comment section. They are trusted links. Don't just click on anything on the internet. If you anything you may want or need, make sure you check out those links. They are trusted links to those companies, and I use all of them. I'll catch all of you on the next one.